Listen, that was an instant lock, so I'm thinking only one operator. No, I thought it was going to be Lion, because Vexed have always banned Lion every single game.
Yeah, I thought that'd be Lion. I mean, Glaz can certainly be handy on that downstairs. You know, you can use him really to brute force your way into Garage. So Glaz, not too much of a surprise there. And as you can see, Lion there making his usual appearance in the operating banning phase.
So, Lion, Glaz off the board, no surprise for me. Defenders, what are we looking at? I'm thinking Maestro, Echo, Mira is really the big ones. Valkyrie,
they're always safe bets.
Four.
Yeah, I think Echo and Valkyrie.
Mira?
Mira, okay.
Okay, so you're thinking, yeah, I could probably say Echo. I think Echo's the more logical one. Echo very, very strong, especially for that Garage and that mid four as well. A very good operator, and especially with the way that Vex play, where they're very run and gun, that very aggressive nature. No, Maestro will be the pick, but then again, Echo, Maestro, really not much different in really what they do.
We're seeing Echo fall back into favour and be played a little bit more this evening, which is always good to see. I mean, Echo's seen a little bit of a rework recently. Obviously now he's got 2 Yokai drones, which, you know, I think makes him very powerful, and I certainly think it makes him a little bit more powerful than Maestro. But obviously these teams have their reasons for choosing what they do, and you know, nice to see that the Valkyrie's been let in. Not sure how much of that we are going to see, as we are going to be going down to Cafe and Garage first. Again, we're not going to be seeing a Maverick tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how Dealey can deal with the bandit tricking, and you know, he might even be able to keep Thermite out here, depending on how much of upstairs control that Vexed are able to maintain.
So another operator which is very strong, I would say, for a map like Consulate is, you know, Pulse. That's another one that we really can never turn our nose up at. Pulse, very strong. Gains that intel with the cardiac scanner, has the nitro cell, which we know Consulate, the amount of destructible flooring it has is unbelievable. It really up there in terms of, you know, maps like Border, where literally everything, I think the only thing that isn't would be that locker hallway, and also that office is the only thing I believe which isn't actually destructible. So a lot of options for the defender certainly to consider is that Pulse. You can kind of play him in towards that server area, use the cardiac scanner, gain that early intel, figure out what kind of push, because if you see 4 people spawned over towards that admin side, you know straight away, oh, early access guys, they're going to come towards the admin, and you kind of set up your strategies towards that area. If you see nobody spawn towards admin, oh, so it's going to be a very standard wall take, guys. Get ready for that. I think that's why I like Pulse. It's just that early gather that you can really have in Consulate.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's almost unique to Consulate, in that you can gather that information
really
early on, and make a good judgment on where they're going to be pushing from. I think maybe we will see a Pulse brought out when we move up to the other floors of the bomb sites, because we'll be able to go in plant denial and, you know, etc. There's obviously some use for him, but it does seem as though you know, it's not as necessary for a downstairs hold, which we are obviously in now. And you can see there they've opened the door on yellow stairs pretty early on, which isn't too much of a surprise, but it's all about how they deal with this now, because they're obviously going to be looking to get rid of the bandit and to maybe get rid of the bandit shock charges that are going to be on that garage wall, to be able to allow Mac as the Thermite to go and do his thing and open up the garage door. Got Madman there. He's made his way into the bathroom, and he's just going to jump in his drone for a quick second and make sure that Piano is clear before he goes on and tries to start destroying some of the floor and gain a little bit of that map control. You know, just try and push Bandit out of where he is, really.
Yeah, I think Buck is kind of fits under that same guidelines that we were saying with the amount of destructibility that you really have. Another player which I think we should mention is that replacement core Feral, which is going to be Pi being brought in. We'll see how he can fill the shoes of Feral, who we know has been so strong this entire season. First phone call as well will go off, and Madman already challenging 2 players using that Skeleton Key, and this is really where Buck can just have this free range, open up as many sightlands as he can, and make it so uncomfortable for these defenders.
Yeah, the defender's now going to be finding himself in a position where the garage wall's getting opened, yellow stairs control will be starting to be developed and maintained there by Dockerby, and we've got Buck upstairs, sorry, who's going to be able to open up the floor and just make it so that it's really difficult for those defenders downstairs. But the new player that you just mentioned there, Not Pi, he is going to be on a little bit of a flank upstairs, and he's going to be looking to make his way through, but he doesn't want to really give his position away too early. He wants to kind of wait this out just a little bit. We are, you know, he is running out of time. We've only got a minute left on the clock, so it is going to be a little bit difficult for him, but he certainly will be looking to oh, he's actually chosen to go downstairs. I definitely thought he would have stayed upstairs in that scenario, and try and come through into Piano and the top of yellow stairs and just try and get some information, get some kills that way.
Yeah, he instead will try and rotate up towards the spiral, gives him more of a strategic position where he can cover that yellow hallway and also cover that double door and piano. But Madman with the buck lurking, does he know that buck would be there? Pi shoots the wall and he manages to land the headshot onto Madman. Very, very convincing kill there for Pi. Jesus, whoever picks up one as Meads also pushes on in. Double kill for Meads, dearly there with the refrag. A 1 versus 2. Tank pushes way in towards the bomb site. C4 toss, but to no avail. Tank knows that Bandit will be there. Easy pre-fire, but going up against Pi, the new kid on the block. Can he clutch this up? Tries to push on in and go and plant right in front of Pi, but no, comes off it, and Pi will clutch up the round for his team. The new man on the roster cleans up house, and Vex, they take the first round against Unnamed.
Fantastic round, and I think that if Capital, you know, obviously we've got hindsight, we can see what's going on from a third-person perspective here, so it's a bit difficult for us to make decisions, but I'd have been much more likely to think about planting at White Van there and maybe trying to get yourself outside and deal with that angle just a little bit differently. He was short on time, and he did end up taking the fight to Jaeger, played by Pi, but you know, Pi did a fantastic job, and he managed to pick up 2 really good frags there, which essentially secured the round for Vex. So it'll be interesting to see how they move forward from that. And you can see that we're going to be going upstairs, but a pulse not going to be on the table.
I wonder if Pi has a 3.14 KD. yeah.
A little bit slow.
Finally got
a little bit slow.
Yeah, I thought that was quite unique.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't think Twitch chat will like it. I think I might be getting absolutely murdered at Twitch chat currently. But
six pick. We've seen the six pick onto the Pulse.
That's what I was saying. Pulse, a very strong operator. And like I said, go into server, check towards the admin. If you see everybody spawn an admin, which is typically kind of what Unnamed like to go for, you know, they have the right setup. I say that. They have the Capo, which kind of suggests that they may be going for that B push, because Capo is very good at killing anybody in towards that yellow stairs, killing anybody who may be lurking in that the blind spot inside of the B bomb as well. And of course, having Madman there on the buck, he can go below in towards piano, open up that B, the B flooring, get any anchors, open up connector, really wreak havoc from below. But again, it's up to them. You have always that option. Do you want to go for that admin? Do you want to go for the B push? And at the moment, all of them spawning towards that B side kind of suggests that, yeah, they're going to go for that console office push.
I certainly don't think it's a bad idea. I think we just caught it there. Smoke was shooting out in that small little connector that you were talking about. Smoke actually shot it out, and it wasn't actually reinforced. That's going to give Buck a little bit of an easy entry into there in terms of using his skeleton key to maybe get some grenades into B site. And like you say, Capital there, you can see there that wall not reinforced, so Capital certainly going to be able to take advantage of that in terms of, you know, denying anybody that may be hiding there, although unlikely seeing as it isn't reinforced. I wonder where those reinforcements have gone elsewhere. But yeah, I think that yellow stairs push is certainly going to hold Unnamed in good stead. But we've got Pulse underneath there on Zach, and he's going to want to try and stay alive for as long as possible, just gather slow little bits of information, try not to expose himself all too much for long periods of time, because obviously we have got the IQ on the other side, who is going to be able to see Pulse, you know, fairly easily with that scanner. Doki there is going to pick up his first kill onto Meads, so that's going to be Dockery off the board before we've even seen a phone call. So a little bit of utility lost early on there on the team of Unnamed.
Yeah, Doki on his signature dot that we've seen him play so religiously this entire season. Zach, another nail in the coffin. Madman does fall back off the board. Massive kill as Madman tried to take that 1 versus 1 fight. Jugger does respond with a kill for his team as Doki will finally get fell by the 552 commando. But looking at Vex, they've done the damage. They have taken out the majority of the utility that Unnamed have. No grenades on the side for Madman. You know, he's dead. There's none of that. The explosives from below. Zach, he has an explosive from below that certainly he can use and abuse. And especially whenever nobody from Unnamed is actually going to be watching that. I say that IQ has rotated downstairs, trying to see if he can find Zach. Tank eliminates Dearly, and Jugger does win that fight against the Pulse. It will be a 1 versus 3 as Pi did get down inside of Connector. Echo can try and deny this plant, but really with 45 seconds on the clock, plenty of time for the players of Unnamed to try and stop this. Jesus, great wall bang, a double kill, but no, Jugger will be there. Jesus falls, and that will be a quick cleanup for the IQ, and it will go 1 round apiece between Unnamed and Vexed.
Jesus nearly pulling off a miracle there and picking that round up, but just not quite managing it. Seemed as though Unnamed had a very good crossfire set up in that scenario and were able to cut him down as he did pick up those 2 kills. But a very good chance, and you know, something that definitely worth building on there. They're going to go there again. There's definitely no reason not to. They were certainly very close in terms of clutching that round out, and I think that the early picks that Vexed were able to get onto Unnamed in Meads and Madman on the Dockery in the book really assisted them in doing that, because the phone calls weren't there to cause that disruption and to locate the roamers as they were maybe, you know, trying to get a flank off, or Pulse was maybe trying to play underneath, so there wasn't that disruption. And obviously Madman on the book, he's going to want to be underneath and try and gain a little bit of vertical control, which is going to be difficult to do. You know, it's going to make Pulse's job a little bit more difficult, sorry, if he's you know, trying to deny the plant with a nitro toss. So it was certainly a decent round from Vex, but then just clutching it out at the end there.
Vex will have a second attempt at this top floor bomb site. Still no mid floor from them, or even that split bomb site to be shown just yet. And of course, after this round, they do also have that garage being opened up for them as well. Unnamed still not changing with their attacking lineup. I would say that, you know, they're kind of lacking that main pushing power. Possibly a big operator there like Blackbeard could really do a number on the defensive side of Vex. You know, Blackbeard, absolute menace in the windows, and a map like Consulate where it's all about the window game. Yeah, Blackbeard, an excellent pickup, can really challenge you know, players like Doki, who sure has the ACOG, has the MP5, can really ping those heads, but if that shield's going to be covering that head, then yeah, it makes things a lot tougher from Doki. And let's not forget that that scar from the Blackbeard can melt you in 3 or 4 shots.
It's certainly a surprise that we've not seen Blackbeard played, especially as he's on the table and available. Usually, like you say, the window play would be in full effect, and you'd be looking to get Blackbeard on those west windows on B side, get some claymores out down at the bottom of yellow stairs, and maybe even Piano to try and stop some sort of a run out. But it's just something that we've not seen. It looks as though we've got Unnamed and they're trying to take the fight a little bit more inside the building. They're not really trying to play off the repel too much. But that being said, we did have Tank Ninja playing on repel quite a bit last time, as the Capital, you know, doing his work from there, which, you know, is something that a Blackbeard can't do in terms of the smokes and the ability to cut off areas and stuff. So it's a tough one. It's one of those which operator you would actually drop in that scenario to let the Blackbeard in. I think for me it'd probably be the IQ.
So the droning phase for Unnamed will start to be implemented. They don't have to worry about the pulse this time, but instead will have to worry about the Vigil, who is going to be immune to those drones. And certainly something that Jugger can use his advantage with that IQ scanner, that perfect counter to the Vigil. Jesus still there with the ACOG holding tight, and I'm quite surprised why they're not bringing Jugger in towards Piano, and then he can simply just shoot the Echo drones, which I'm sure he knows is going to be inside a B-bomb set. A very easy strategy that they can pull off, but no, they want to play him as more of a fragging operator, because looking at that lineup, there's no one there who else would really do that. They don't bring Sophia, they don't bring Ash, they don't bring those very aggressive, great gun skill operators. They go for more of that utility value. Still, having those logic bombs as well will help them immensely with this challenge, and Jugger challenges Doki and wins that gunfight quite easily, doesn't even take any damage from it. Has to be careful of Jesus holding this pixel peak angle, but a minute to go, the utility will start to be fired in from Unnamed. Jugger through the smoke, sees the head of Dearly and lands the shots. Another kill for him. No, Zach will deny him that free K. Zach pushing on in, still has plenty of help to try and make things work, as Pi and Jesus will start to try and retake the bomb site as the plant will go down. Madman from the yellow stairs picks up Jesus. Zach knows he's going to be there, but doesn't know that he's going to be to the right-hand side. Tank eliminates Pi. Zach taking more damage as well, even more from the window. Easy cleanup for Unnamed. Well, that is as easy as you like. The window game proving so strong for the players of Unnamed, and really Vex just that little bit too much aggression in my eyes, especially Doki there giving away that very early kill.
Yeah, I think, you know, as the defenders in that scenario, you've got to try and anchor yourself a little bit further down, and maybe just not expose yourself as much, you know, to the attackers, because it just doesn't really put you in much of an advantage. You risk getting shot, and you're not able to really do much in terms of denial. Jesus could have just stayed behind his shield and tried to deny the plant a little bit, but it was looking like it could have gone either way at one point, especially when Tank Ninja was there taking quite a lot of time on the repel to try and search out those yokai drones. And that's something that, like you say, would have been easily countered if Jugger had used his IQ from beneath to try and shoot out those drones, so that they wouldn't, you know, come into play as it happened. Unnamed were able to get the kills, and it didn't come down to that. But, you know, it certainly was one of those rounds that I could have definitely seen it going either way.
Attackers need to locate.
You can certainly see, you know, the lack of the leadership, I would say, for Vex. Their strategies, very basic, very simple. This is something that Unnamed have played against so many times. You know, it's a very standard setup where they have one roamer, they have an echo, they have more people inside of connector and A-bomb. That is so easy for the players up Unnamed to counter that. They have the fixating bolts with the capo to deny those peaks from the connector. Even the smoke arrows as well can really do a big number. No denial from below because, of course, Unnamed have those that cover from the butt from below as well. Just everything that Vex are trying to put on the board, Unnamed have got it down to a T.
Yeah, they definitely have, and I think that this is potentially where we may see Vexed favour the attack tonight. They might do a little bit better in being able to attack objectives, play the way that they want to play. You know, we all know they play quite aggressively, and it's maybe something that, like you say, the leadership that they may be lacking in Feral on defense, you know, maybe trying to keep people back a little bit and, you know, give people a little bit more of structure or a little bit more of a strategy as to how to play. Maybe that's what we're seeing come into effect here, and I think they may do a little bit better on attack this evening, just through the nature of the guys that they've got playing for them being quite aggressive people, you know, or quite aggressive players, should I say.
So we all see, of course, the roam game being established by not only Pi, but also Doki, the roaming mute. Of course, we know that the C4 available can be very vital for that kind of roam game. And even Dearly has a Nitro Cell as well to try and deny the run-in from potentially Mac. I say potentially, it's going to be Mac going for the plant every single time, being that main support player for Unnamed. And at the moment, I think he's had a 2 out of 3 success rate of actually getting the diffuser off.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. You really can't ask for more than you know, from your thermite than to be able to, you know, open walls and get the plant off. It's absolutely crucial. You can see that the garage wall is going to get opened as Madman has gained upstairs control, been able to shoot through the floor. But there we go. Not Pi is going to pick up that kill onto Madman. So that's going to be, I think that was maybe from down below. I think that was Jaeger maybe behind the back of White Van. I may be mistaken. But the garage wall is going to be open nonetheless, and that is going to allow Unnamed now to take the time, develop some angles, gain a little bit more upstairs control, and ultimately fall onto this site. But we have got a player playing right upstairs. I think that is going to be Mute. As you said, we had a roaming Mute in Doki earlier. There he is at the bottom of Spiral Staircase, and he's going to be making his way down now onto Yellow Stairs. And he just gets some shots there from, I believe it was Meads. Jugger there is going to pick up a kill onto Not Pi. So Meads there is going to be on Yellow Stairs, but he's going to be aware that we've got a Mute playing upstairs, although it does appear as though Mute has rotated back down and he's going to fall back to side for the final minute of the round, just to try and assist in the final stages of angle holding. You can see that the wall is going to get fully opened, although there is going to be a little bit left in the middle, which will deny a little bit of visibility and a little bit of movement in there as well. But I think that Unnamed have got to be looking at getting the plant down pretty soon with the Capital smoke. But it's all about how Jesus is able to deny this plant with his yokai drones.
30 seconds, this is going to have to be pretty rapid for the players of Vexed. Unnamed quite smartly have gotten rid of the Echo Drones using Jugger and that IQ scanner. Jesus sees the Kappa, but does not land enough shots. The MP5 SD4 gets tossed out, manages to land its target. Doki squares away Meads and Tank, all down to 25 HP. Doki double kill for him. Quick cleanup with the Mute. Well, that will be Vex bouncing back with yet again another defensive win on that downstairs garage, and just the time ticking away. The C4s proved to be so strong for Vex, which is kind of what we suggested. That's why you bring the Nitro Cells, is to deny the plant in those later stages of the round. And certainly it seems to be we're going to go for the full distance, just the way it's going, where it's going back and forth, but then again, it's going to be another top floor defense for Vexed, and Unnamed have proven to be pretty strong at those upstairs attacks.
Yeah, they're definitely dominant on the windows, and you can see there as we say that Meads is going to pull in with the Blackbeard, so they're going to be certainly looking to continue playing on these windows. But yeah, I mean, we said it in the pre-game, didn't we? We said that these teams are going to be fairly equally matched. It was a little bit tricky to kind of, you know, pick a winner between them. It's certainly that we did agree to disagree on, but he's going to 6-pick off up there onto the Thatcher. Now, I'm not sure why they've tried to sort of debate that, if you will. I mean, they've chosen the Blackbeard. that makes a lot of sense in this scenario. I can only guess they're bringing the Thatcher to try and deal with the yokai drones, try and disrupt those from being able to work with the EMP grenade. But I don't think it's a worthwhile sacrifice. You've got IQ for that job, and we've seen that Jugger's been really effective at taking out the yokai drones so far. So to switch off the Blackbeard at that point does seem a little bit off, but it did force Vex's hand as well, and they did 6-pick as well. You can see Doki there has chosen to go onto the Pulse. Not necessarily a direct counter for the Blackbeard, but you know, maybe something that he was thinking about doing and chose to do because he thought there was going to be another player outside on the window repel. Whereas now we've got Meads who could potentially, you know, come in from downstairs, although he's more likely to go outside onto B repel and try and cause a little bit of disruption there. Like I said, disabling the yokai drones.
So, Vex, they once again set up completely the same way that they've done last time. This should be, once again, a very standard and easy take from the players. Off Unnamed, unless, you know, looking at this time, they have chosen not just the Pulse this time, but also the Vigil. So that double room presence, I'm sure, will come in very shortly for Vex. They want to try and deny the plant from below. And of course, having a player like Doki there has also the UMP, which can do quite a number in these kind of long-range engagements. There's virtually no recoil. You can really do a number on, you know, potentially Madman trying to push on in. Quite interesting, you know, you're going to see Zach inside of admin, which I'm not sure why he's there, because every single time this attack has come in, Zach have never pushed that, or Unnamed have never pushed that, so Zach is virtually useless.
Yeah, I think as the Vigil, it's you know, you've got to give yourself that opportunity to hide away and to come and, you know, to maybe pull off some sort of late flank or late rotate. Maybe he's looking at using one of his impact grenades to drop the hatch in admin, drop down into Visa and come up yellow stairs or something like that. Maybe coming into piano if Madman gains a little bit of vertical control there. You can see that the first kill is going to come out from Doki onto Jugger. That's going to be IQ off the boards. That's going to allow him to really act and really play a lot more freely than he would usually. Obviously, IQ's scanner there is going to be absolutely crucial in locating the Pulse, but it is not to be. Madman there going to pick up the kill onto Zach. So Zach was downstairs at the bottom of Spiral Desk when that happened. So he'd obviously made his way down in some capacity, but just didn't quite manage to pull off the rotate, although Madman did lose quite a little bit of health in that engagement. Tank Ninja's there is going to pick up Notpie from the top floor, and that's going to be, you know, pretty much side control right there. Oh, sorry, pretty much map control right there, because they're going to have both floors upstairs. Although they've still got Doki lurking on the main stairs, just trying to pick anybody off that he may be able to find. Now, if he goes around that corner, he may get a free kill on somebody on the drone, and he is going to see him there on the scanner coming in and going upstairs. So it does appear as though Unnamed are going to be going upstairs a little bit more. Not. Oh, there we go. There's a C4 kill. It comes out. Doki's going to pick up a beautiful 2K there. Mac and Tank Ninja going to fall to that, and Madman is going to pick up the kill, but at that point it is going to be too late, and this is now going to be a 2 versus 2. Madman there going to pick up another one onto Dealey. Dealey just finding himself in a little bit of a tricky position there. Jesus there is going to be playing this pixel peek yet again onto Madman, and the diffuser's got to be going down at this time. Yeah, the diffuser's going down. The yokai drone's going to come out to deny that plant, and that's going to do its job, but not for long. He picks up 1 kill onto Jesus. There's not going to be a lot of time left on the diffuse as it is down to Madman versus Jesus. The diffuser's coming down. He's got to know that that's happening with his yokai drone. Why is he not shooting through the floor? He knows where it's going to be, and I think that you're going to see Madman there go and exit onto the balcony, get himself on rappel, and be able to watch that diffuser pretty safely.
This is absolutely insane. Doki should have had that round in the bag. Jesus unfortunately slips down the hatch. Brings over the yokai drone to see if he can find any intel, potentially blast Madman off of the balcony. Madman quite smartly lying down, waiting, knows all he has to do is pick on up. Ty gets sent out, and that will be the one tap from Jesus. Clutches up for his team. Vex, they finally break the curse against the top floor defense, and well, what a round. So much action. Doki did his job, stopped that first initial plant. Well, Jesus, my oh my. I've used this pun too many times, but another miracle for him.
Fantastic round. You really can't argue with that. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to clutch out in the end. As soon as I saw the diffuser going down and we saw Madman exit and go out onto the balcony, I thought it was going to be GG for Unnamed there, but Jesus pulling it out of the bag, using Yokai Drone to its, to its absolute maximum. He was in a very good position there to get that clutch, and it was obviously, it was all laid out there for him, and that's when this skill comes in, and he can really keep a cool head and, be able to pull that one off. So that's going to do it for the first half, and we're now going to switch over. So that's going to see Vexed come out victorious in their defensive stage. It's going to be 3-2, and it's going to be on Unnamed now to take us down to, they're going to go upstairs. They're going to go down to console office. So we're going to see top floor yet again. Let's see how Unnamed are able to deal with it.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, Unnamed, they will be bringing a lot of ACOGs, a similar setup to what we've seen the players of Vexed use for their defense. The only difference that they have is instead of that pulse, the Valkyrie will be brought to the table. So they're going to opt for more of that window coverage, where of course you can get a camera out in towards potentially the southwest corner. You cover then the entire west side, and you cover the entire south side, just because of the general layout that really Console is. It's a rectangle, 4 sides, very, very easy for Valkyrie cameras to really do a number. And whenever there's so much vegetation outside where you can sneak these Valkyrie cameras, it makes it very difficult for the attacking team. But Vex, they have covered their trails and have decided to bring the IQ in this scenario. And of course, whenever there is 2 intel gathering gadgets on the defensive side, then yeah, IQ is an immense pickup. You can get rid of not just the Valkyrie cameras, but also those Echo drones, which, as we've seen, are so big in these clutch situations, these final couple of seconds.
Yeah, and that's why we see Echo banned out so often, is his ability to be able to clutch out the rounds, and the camera that it gives you, that you're able to move around and gain information in those clutches. That, it doesn't just have to be for using it for plant denial, it can be for other things as well. Doki there is going to get cut down by Madman, and the Ash just trying to entry frag there a little bit, but Madman saying nope, not today, and he's going to make his way back up yellow stairs with a full bar of health as well. So that's going to be certainly a really nice pickup early on for him. And you can see there we've got Mead just putting in a Yokai drone over in admin, just to be able to gather a little bit of information as to when that push is going to come. Obviously, when Unnamed were attacking, they tended to favour the B push. However, it does seem as though Vexed are looking to maybe push that admin side just a little bit more, and you can see there that there's still at least 2 of the Valkyrie cameras out there. And Madman's going to pick up another kill, this time onto Jesus, just using those Valkyrie cameras to maybe get a glimpse onto the top of the building, just able to pick up a kill off that skylight. All 3 Valkyrie cameras still in play, although I think at this point, with most of Vex being inside the building, it is going to become less of a point. But never a bad idea to get those taken out, especially when there's an IQ on the board. Madman's going to be in a good position here to pick himself up another couple of kills if he is so able to. We've got some guys pushing over. He's got a drone on him right there. He knows it's there, but it's not active for the moment, so there's no reason for him to shoot it out. And Zach there is going to pick up that kill, just peeking around the corner onto Spiral Stairs. That's going to allow Zach to move into a bomb site and pick up another kill onto Mac, as Mac had a smoke canister in his hand. Now looking for that Yokai drone, just trying to make sure that they're not going to get it, not going to get denied. The diffuser's not even in their hands. Mead goes down, so the Yokai drone is now a non-point, but Zach has had to go all the way back into admin to pick up that diffuser, and is now going to have to come back into A site. And I think they've just lost a little bit of the element of surprise there. It does look as though we've maybe had a little bit of a revive there from Doc. The diffuser will go down now, and we've got Dealey going to be holding that through into connector.
Diffuse will be initiated by Zach. Quite comedic that they did forget the diffuser after Zach with those incredible pre-fire shots. And talking about pre-fire, manages to pick out one before Jugger gets the trade off. Jugger very weak on the health. Don't know if he has any stim pistols left. Meads, however, will be the final blow, and the diffuse comes in from Jugger. Actually, didn't even have any stim pistols either, so that could have been detrimental for Unnamed. But certainly Doc used those stim pistols correctly. We've seen that Meads did get downed inside of the bathroom, and we've talked so much about the Doc, who's very strong in those final situations where you need to get a revive. They had no physical way of crossing over towards that long desk. They needed the Doc in that scenario, and as you can see, it paid off for them.
No, it's really when Doc comes into his own, especially when it's an operator, that you get up like Echo. With Echo having so much being so valuable in that stage of the round in terms of denying the plant. But I can't help but think if Vex there had had the diffuser in hand, it could have played out a little bit differently. It was almost like they almost looked at each other and was like, I thought you had it. No, I thought you had it. No, I thought you had it. And having to go back for the diffuser at that stage, I think it cost them the round, because they lost that. They didn't have an element of surprise, because obviously Unnamed and knowing that they're going to be trying to push that side and all this sort of stuff. But the positioning that they had at that point was probably a little bit more powerful than the positioning that they had when they did eventually get the plant down.
first downstairs bomb site for the players of Unnamed, and they will be bringing in that the mute as well, so they want those jammers to try and deny the droning from Vexed. Of course, if you did not know, for the downstairs there is these elevated positions where you can vault onto said elevated positions. You can put down a mute jammer, as you can see Jugger demonstrating right here, and that will deny any drones coming in through that yellow stairs. That's a very big highway traffic area for those drones. Immense, really, for trying to pick up those loose drones, keeps your roamers alive just that little bit longer. Of course, they can be Thatchered, which, as you can see, Doki has decided to bring the Thatcher in that scenario. Jugger, another one putting down inside of that office area. Completely denies any access for drones coming inside of that circle desk as well. Really heavy if you want to try and have these roamers inside of bathroom or also inside of piano as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, if you can deny the drones, you deny a lot of attacker information. I think that it's probably fair to say that Vex maybe don't use the drones as well as they could. They sometimes are a little bit wasteful with them, especially in the prep phase.
You've been watching the Prem.
So it's, you know, it's maybe not going to be as effective, and you can see Daly there just getting his drone shot as he just tried to jump over the scanner range. But you know, he's going to get a bit of information as to where people are. He's not going to get a lot of information. Doki there is going to come in and try and do the same, but again, his drone's going to get cut down. So yeah, it's going to deny that information. You're going to know where the defending team are, but you're not going to know exactly where they are, and that's really, you know, that's the key and important bit there that you're going to need to know. Jesus here is still taking some precautions on getting into the building, but we have got a tank ninjas there. He's ripped the nitro cell off and he's getting ready to throw it, but I don't think he's going to get anything unless I think it's going to be IQ there, just doing a little bit of drone work. If IQ jumps in, then maybe that nitro cell will come off. But this is the difficulty when you don't bring the pulse. If you had the pulse, you'd know exactly where that was, and you wouldn't really be wasting any time in terms of thinking, are they in? Yeah, am I listening for it? Have I heard it? And all this sort of stuff. You can see there that the EMP grenades are going to come out and just allow a little bit of drone work to go on a bit more freely there.
Thermite wall will start to be opened up by Zach. Of course, the factory is make quick work of those mute jammers, which could have potentially trying to deny that access. Madman not even attempting the bandit trick. And both of the walls will actually be opened up, so there's a lot of pressure at the moment on the players up on Unnamed. Mac already starting things off with a shotgun kill on the yellow stairs, a very aggressive nature that he is taking as a smoke. Has those gas canisters, of course, to try and deny the plant as much as he can. C4s from tank can come out at any moment. Let's not forget about the echo drones that they can ever so loomingly just stop the plant indefinitely. Jugger has taken quite a bit of health damage, of course. 40 seconds to go, still plenty of time for Vex to do that final bit of drone work, figure out exactly where they will be looking to strike. And at the moment, there's nowhere really that they can go. Everywhere is going to be covered by the players up on Unnamed. Quite interestingly, Mac not even using the gas canisters on the actual planter, instead the yellow stairs. He's going to try and deny as much as he can, and the down will come in from Tank, and Jugger will clean up house. Jugger double kill for him, and Mac runs up the stairs with the shotgun, pumps Pie right in the head, and Tank cleans up another kill for himself as well. So Unnamed, they take yet again another defensive win, and that will put them into the lead once more, just like they were earlier on inside of this match.
Vex spent looks like we're going to maybe hit a bit of a rehost here, but Vex seemed to spend quite a lot of time there in not doing very much. I think they spent a lot of time outside the garage. They spent a lot of time just not really, you know, dealing with any of the issues that they were facing. They didn't counter anything. They weren't making any moves. They were, by not making a decision, they were making the decision to do nothing. And I don't think that it's not the Vex that we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing quite aggressive players. We used to see them, you know, that maybe, you know, taking the fight to the enemy team. And at this point, I'd love to see him run down through admin, or sorry, through visas, drop the hatch, and just do a total backside push and just see how it comes out from all guns blazing. Yeah,
that's kind of the Vex that we're used to seeing week in, week out. Of course, this is where it kind of leads me back to my initial point. They don't have Feral. They don't have that me and IGL who calls these strategies. And you know, looking at Feral, he has called some pretty good ones. He has seen these weaknesses inside of teams, and you know, looking at what they've done to Wind and Rain, what they've done to Horizon Barrage, where they've really went for these very hefty rushes. They've worked a lot of the time, so you really have to give credit to what Feral did with this roster. Of course, Vex was it was never one of the strat-heavy teams. They really relied a lot on their heavy run-and-gun playstyle. You know, you have players that are like Doki, who can really use and abuse those kind of operators that have that fast action pace. But we're not really seeing it from Vexed at the moment. Unnamed as well. A lot of things that I would say that they are very questionable with. I think that the way that they have just tried to rush in and get the kills, never really a smarter thing to do. I think they kind of have to take a step back and look and say, oh, yeah, we're kind of rushing this. We should take as much time as we can. A perfect example was whenever they tried to push Jesus as that Echo in that final defensive round for Vexed. They tried the rush whenever they could have easily went for the plant, and as you can see, it failed for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Unnamed they've done well to get to where they are. You know, I think they deserve every round that they've been able to pick up this far. But there's certainly, I mean, that was on attack. I think on defense they've been much stronger.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that, you know, they're probably in their element now, and they're able to really hunker down, focus on the job that they've got at hand, and you know, ultimately pull out the win. But that being said, it doesn't take much to, you know, it doesn't take many mistakes to start shifting those tides. And you never know what Vex are doing now. Maybe they're on the phone to Feral saying, quick, you know, what do we do, sort of thing.
Feral's having a great time. I'm sure he doesn't even want to know what Vex are doing. He's probably in the pool relaxing, of course. But yeah, you can certainly see the, you know, different roster changes. Of course, Pi, he has not been playing bad. Yeah. That's one thing you have to say. He hasn't, you know, been sitting there with 0 kills, being the absolute dead weight of the team. No, he has been there getting kills.
No, he's made himself known.
Yeah,
he's certainly come out, and he's put in a good performance this far. Played some great Jaeger, played some fantastic defensive rounds early on, and it'd be nice to see how he progresses, and if he does stick around with this team, and you know where it goes.
Yeah, again, Vexed, we know they're going to be in playoffs. This is going to be a fact at the moment. Of course, Guidance, Vex, Unnamed, they're all going to be playing playoffs. It's more, where are they going to be seated? That's kind of the main focus of what we're looking at, is where exactly are these teams going to be placed? Because, you know, looking at it, we know first seed secret. Second seed, still have to decide. It should be M&M. Looking at it, it should be M&M taking that second seed. And then everything else is just kind of who wants the third seed. Because if you are Unnamed, Vexed, or Guidance, and you look at who, if you get the third seed, who you play in 6th, yeah, you want that third seed, because that is arguably an easy land spot for you. You're playing against either Barrage or Horizon, who have been very weak this season. And then if you want to go into that 4th versus 5th, you will be going against a very evenly matched side, and you never really want to leave that to risk. You want to try and get the easiest way possible to get yourself to a LAN.
Definitely. I mean, I guess Guidance, in terms of what they're able to do to influence their seeding, has been and gone, because they've obviously, unfortunately, missed out on
third.
You know, versus Team Secrets. They're not going to be able to get third. So this game is, you know,
this game is for third.
This game's a big, and this is for third. So how this goes, and I mean, you can see by the scoreline right now, we're on 3-4. It really still is anybody's. And you know, I could even see this maybe being a draw, which, you know, that could certainly throw a spanner in the works. Yeah,
at least I believe Vex then will get that guaranteed 3rd place, and then I believe Unnamed, they will be joint with Guidance, and that comes down to the points to see who actually then gets that higher seeded. But really, 4th or 5th, doesn't really matter what seed you're in. You'll be facing a very tight opponent, and then of course we still have to decide our 6th place for tonight between Horizon and Barrage, which will be our final match of the season tonight. And then once that's done, we have to do it all over again, but this time playoffs, best of 3s, which really anything can happen in that prospect.
Well, that's when it all changes. You know, best of 1s aren't always the best representation of a team, because there's a lot of factors in Siege that are influenced by the map that you play, and if you only play one, then you don't always get to see the full picture. There's certainly a fantastic way of getting a lot of games in, getting through a lot of games, and getting to decide, you know, who's good, because if you're good on one map, you're going to be good on most of them. But teams do have favourite maps, they do have favourite strats, they do have things that they work into, so I think that when it goes to best of 3, that may be when we do see a little bit of differences, because obviously then you're playing at least 2 maps, so you've got a lot more to do, you've got, you know, a bit more fatigue, mental fatigue, and all this sort of stuff starts to come into the picture, as opposed to, you know, just a one and done sort of things. That's when really you'll have some interesting games on your hands, and if you get a close match like we've got tonight with Vexed and Unnamed, that's really when you'll see, you know, big battles and, you know, quite a grand sort of showdown.
And then we get the LAN, and that's really where everything goes out the window. Everything goes out the window. Rule book, nope, that's it. It's LAN, anything can happen. You know, we've seen it happen many times in LAN events where all of a sudden teams have just looked so weak and they're gone, because it's just the LAN pressure. And again, for a lot of those teams, which isn't secret, they don't have all too much LAN experience. M&M, for example, have virtually no LAN experience beside themselves. Even players like Guidance, again, no LAN experience. Unnamed, yes, they do have a bit of LAN experience because they have Madman and Mac there who, you know, played throughout the entire last season. They've won a couple of LANs himself. I believe Mac has won 3 LANs. They were all on Xbox, to be fair to himself, but still you have that experience. And Vexed, again, another team which doesn't have too much LAN experience as either. You could say Feral, but he just stands behind the team, doesn't actually play at the LAN, you know, so that's always going to be something. Then Barrage, Horizon, nothing. So
it's always a difficult one. I think that regardless of platform, LAN experience is LAN experience, because what you're going to be looking for, aside from any of the technical aspects of it, you know, no hit, you know, no lag or anything like that, you're going to be looking at that live crowd.
You get the fist pump your teammate, stuff like that.
You're in that same room. You've got that same room gaming experience, which is really rare these days. You know, years and years ago, you used to all get around and pile on the PlayStation together, but now you all just sit in your own little bubble in your own little room and play and talk on Discord and stuff.
And we take them out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, so you've really got to expose yourself to that and say, actually, you know what, we're going to do the LAN, we're going to get everyone in the same room, you're going to be able to fist bump your teammate, you're going to be able to scream at him if he's not doing what you want him to do. And
if you mess up, you will hear me in the
studio. Exactly, you're going to hear me in real life, I'm going to be here. But and then, of course, you've got a crowd of people that are cheering you on, or not cheering you on, as the case may be, if, you know, depending on how the crowd sits and where you're favoured. So I think that's probably one of the best things about the LAN experience, is that, you know, actually getting together, meeting people, and, you know, getting to respond off the crowd.
Talking about LANs, we also have Rio coming up as well, which of course is going to be very hotly contested, guys, as well, for the champion of Pro League Year 3, Season 3, which will take place this weekend. Another thing that's actually going to be taking place this weekend is going to be the free weekend that we have, and we do have a trailer for you guys, so you can really see, if you haven't took the dive, the plunge into Siege, well, maybe this might get you chewing for more. That was a fun little teaser trailer, certainly up there with one of the best that I think we actually do have. I still like the Halloween one. I think the Halloween one was good that they decided to make.
Yeah, I really like that one. I think it's nice in Hollywood.
Yeah, Western themed.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you've not played Siege and that doesn't get you wanting to play Siege, I don't know what will. Yeah,
you're a Montana. You've trapped the mirror in the closet. Instead of shooting her, you decide to shoot open the mirror window, and then Ash, instead of shooting her, Ash launches her. So yeah, many creative ways you can kill people inside of Siege. It's great. But let's get back to business, because this, of course, is still a decider to see who will take that third seed here inside of the ESL Premiership for week number 7. Unnamed versus Vexed are still battling it out, and we will be headed to our first mid-4 defense of this evening, and it's going to be the piano room being picked up by the players off Unnamed. So we didn't see Vexed have the marbles to actually go ahead and choose this defensive location. Instead, it will be Unnamed too. I'm sure will probably have these strategies available to themselves. Of course, they have been locked out of not just the top floor, but also the bottom floor as well. Mac picking up the castle, so these castle barricades will be great at denying those angles that the players of Vexed will want to use. And we said that earlier, Vexed, they are very sloppy in the drones. They've already lost 2 of them inside the prep phase.
Yeah, it's not something that's ever a good thing to lose the drones. Like we say, it's a lot of information that can be gained. And on this bomb site, I think you're looking at 2 operators there that have been banned out that are pretty influential for both sides. I know that Maverick can be a real good pain to sort of start thinking about denying the double door in some way, and then Glaz from outside looking in is just absolutely huge. So it is a surprise that we didn't see this bomb site earlier, and Madman's got himself in a pretty tough spot there. I mean, it never usually ends well in this little closet. I'm hoping he's going to prove me wrong, and I'm sure he will. But you can see there that Dockery Falls are going to be coming out, smoke grenades are going to be coming out, and this is a bit of a quicker Vex that we are used to seeing. But Tank Ninja, they're going to pick up the first one onto Ying with a C4 kill, and we've still got Madman in the closet picking up a kill onto Doki, and Tank Ninja is going to pick up another one onto Zach. So very quickly, this is the Vex that we're used to seeing, a little bit more rushy, a little bit more pushing 1 point, but they found themselves in the 5 versus 2 very, very early on. But there we go, Notpie is going to pick up the first kill onto first kill for his team onto Tank Ninjas. So it's going to bring it down into a 4 versus 2, which is a little bit more palatable. But Madman there going to be juicing himself back up, ready to peek again onto that double door. And the diffuser's down right in the middle of the floor, so it's going to be a tough job for Vexed at this point to be able to get anywhere near that, especially with the Yokai drone being in play.
Yeah, that's just kind of Vexed in their natural habitat, this very aggressive playstyle. Maids tries to get a little bit too frisky with Pi, and he will put him down, but really Pi, what can he do? The rush failed, and yeah, that's pretty much going to be giving Unnamed at least a point from this series, if not send them in to get those total 3 points and give them that potential 3rd seed. If not, I believe this will give them the 3rd seed, because M&M just statistically in terms of points are ahead of Unnamed, even if Unnamed get all 3 points, and then some miracle that Wind and Rune beat M&M, they'll still be ahead of them. But really Vexed, they have just let it slip. I think that the players of Unnamed know this is like the only strategy that Vexed really ever go for. They knew it was coming, at least one rush would have to be shown by Vexed, or else it's not Vexed. But just lacking, I would say, the utility. They lack the smokes, they don't have the glass available, and they even ban that glass as well for themselves. You know, they go for that push. Whenever they have the cover of the smoke, that's where glass excels. They banned it for themselves. I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, the operator bans are a tough thing. They work both ways, and by removing it for yourself, you also remove it for the other team as well. But I mean, Unnamed did pretty all right without the glass, and I think that Vex could have really done with it there, purely because of the bomb site that they got taken to. And we're going to see now upstairs to console office and meeting room for match point for Unnamed. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to close this one out here, or like you say, there is still the potential of a draw. But I think that at this point for Vexed, it's probably looking a little bit distant just through how they have been playing. We're going to see a 6 pick there. Finally going to see a Blackbeard played, which is something that we haven't seen yet this evening. We saw him 6 picked out of a couple of rounds ago by Unnamed, I believe it was. So great to see a Blackbeard. I hope it can do some good work for Vexed if you get him on those B windows. He's able to control quite a lot of the site from there, and the sight lines through connector, through into A, all through into the corridor. All very good angles to be holding with a Blackbeard, and of course the face shield.
So, moving on in, and it seems to be that Unnamed once again will go for this very standard lineup for themselves. They will bring the Legion for the first time, so they're going to try and have more of those goo mines. Very good at trying to delay that yellow stairs push, but as we know, Pi on the IQ can do a lot of damage with that IQ scanner. Really the last time that Unnamed defended this bomb site, Echo Drones didn't do a whole lot. It was very simple for the players off Unnamed just to get the refrags. You know, Vex, they primarily last time pushed in towards that admin side. This time they are spawning over towards the gas station and trying to potentially go for the B bomb site push. But as we know, those goo mines and also Madman here in the yellow stairs can put a lot of work in. Madman, excellent player already. Always have said this, if anybody from the Xbox community who did move over to PC would, I would say, potentially go for a PC professional league, it would be this guy.
He's played fantastically this evening. You can just see he's got a real mind for the game. I believe I watched him in the finals last time at ESL Prem. But he's been absolutely devastating on this yellow stairs playing Jaeger. Some of the kills that he's got from here, especially onto the skylight, have been fantastic. So absolutely second to none in just holding his own, making sure that he's not exposing himself to too many angles, but exposing himself when he can get in the kills. And if you notice something about Madman, he always comes out, well, not always, but a lot of the time he comes out of his engagements with a good load of health left. He doesn't overexpose himself, and I think he really picks his moments. But a bit more of an expected push this time from Vexed, especially as they are bringing the Blackbeard. And I think that maybe him just getting onto Repel right now on the upside. Oh no, he's actually going to be on the south side of the building, so that's a little bit unusual. Usually you'd expect...
A little risky.
Yeah, usually you'd expect Blackbeard to be playing in Jesus' location there. A lot of potential for a run out on that south side, so he's got to be careful there, especially with Valkyrie cameras out there. Still not sure if how many of those are in play or not, how many that Pi has been able to remove with his IQ scanner.
Yeah, certainly Doki taking a big risk playing on that connector window, but as you can see, Pi has decided to rotate on over. Tank just ripping down the barricade right in front of Pi. Oh, how unfortunate for Tank. Let that kill slip, and that certainly has shot Vexed right up into the lead, even more so as Zach eliminates Jugger. However, Mac with the response onto Doki, big kill off the board. That's going to be Blackbeard, and look, everybody from the players of Vexed have rotated and shifted their way in towards the A bomb site. A double kill for Dearly walking down the long desk. Meads does shut down that Ash, but no, the refrag comes in from Pi. And Unnamed, well, at least let that round slip. Tank, that's got to feel bad.
Yeah, it's a big risk going for a teardown of a barricade like that, especially as opposed to just, you know, maybe single hitting it. Potentially single hitting it and getting a view out, receiving some shots in, you could survive that engagement, but it's still unlikely. But at that point in the game, I just didn't feel like there was much benefit in Tank running out like that. It was a little bit of a reckless play, and if there's anything that's going to have secured the draw for Vexed in this scenario, that could be the play.
Yeah, let's not forget, if Vexed take this draw, they get third place. They get that third seed, which this is the battle for that third place, like we have talked about. You know, this is coming right down to the wire. This has been incredibly close for the most part. Yeah, this is, I would say, all the pressure onto Unnamed. Vexed at the moment are still sitting in the driver's seat. If they get that draw, if they clinch back this one final round, that will be huge, because then we're going to have to see then Unnamed and Guidance go at it, and Vexed, and they get, you know, the easier matchup. And also, let's not forget, next week for the playoffs, Feral's back, and also Pengu will be back as well. So you always kind of have to favour Vexed in that scenario if things do go, and Vexed take that third place. And yeah, whoever's in that sixth spot, you got to feel sorry, because they're going to have to feel the full wrath of not only Feral, but little Danish boy as well.
I think Vexed have done a fantastic job pulling it back, and I'm always interested in momentum shift after a break. I think that sometimes when you get a break, things can go one or two ways. Usually you have a dominant team up to a break, you have a little bit of a break, and then sometimes the tides turn. We did see Unnamed clinch the first round back after the break, but I think that was largely due to bomb site selection, and I think they maybe just threw Vexed off just a little bit with that. But I mean, Vexed came out that round, all guns blazing, and it just seemed like they couldn't put a foot wrong. If they do the same this round, then certainly a draw is possible. But don't forget, I mean, the dog said that it was going to be Unnamed. So there's quite a bit to be said for the dog in his predictions. Yeah,
the dog is not always right. He was very close to being right. You never know, this could be the chance where, you know, Freddy does his pride. I don't know if you guys knew, but Freddy actually gets paid just so much more than us, because he is the Prem dog. I think that's just a big disclaimer I have to put out there. But yes, we get outpaid by a dog. Feels bad.
It's worth it. The dog's putting a lot on the line. He's making tough decisions.
So, moving in, we have final 2 minutes for Unnamed to try and hold out as long as they can. They need these 3 points. The Vex just get that draw. It will send them into that third position. Unnamed will be stuck there inside of that fifth position. Madman will start his first potential roam. Tank taking a lot of damage from the sledge. Jesus working with that sledgehammer. Tank just sitting, waiting patiently, and Madman from the top floor will try and work his way on down. Has to be careful of anybody who may be trying to watch the rotations from yellow stairs, and this can go pretty hairy if Madman can try and get that potential flank off.
Max did a fantastic job of playing these yellow stairs last time. You can see him there with the shotgun in hand, ready to do exactly the same again. And I think that the more the clock ticks down, the less likely this looks for Vex to be able to clutch this out, just because of the deniability. Madman there is going to be on the top of spiral stairs and just rotating down onto yellow, and he's going to pick up another kill onto Pi. So Doki picked up Mac, but then Jesus is going to get a kill onto Jugger as well, taking us into a 4 versus 3. So they've lost a little bit of deniability on that smoke, and there we go, the Valkyrie is going to fall, so that's going to probably lead Zach. All he's got to do now is deal with this yokai drone, and the planet is going to be able to go down. Doki's going to pick up a kill onto Madman, and he's going to pick up the final kill onto Meads, and that's going to be Vexed clutching it out and bringing this game up to a draw. It was so close to calling the pre-game, we really couldn't decide, and that is going to be a draw. So, you know, GG's to both teams, Vexed especially for pulling it back, I think.
Yeah, that is gonna be it decided. So not only did this mean that Vex get that guaranteed third, Vex have also just sent M&M into the live finals. That's M&M cannot be caught. M&M and Vex are on the same points at the moment, but because of score difference, that is going to be M&M, your second team into the live finals. They take that second spot. So really, this wind and rain matchup still really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter in the sense for results, but I think it still matters a lot for the players, you know, on both sides. Because
yeah, for wind and rain, they want a point.
But again for M&M, because there's a lot to be said for comp experience, and you know, to play in a competitive environment, it's, you know, you've essentially got to treat it as a scrim at that stage. You can see there, I mean, not Pi, he got some fantastic kills this game. He's really made a name for himself there. You can see Jesus there denying the plant, and this was the round that nearly was for Vexed. Jesus there picking up beautiful 2 kills, but just getting cut down in the final moments. And we've got some more of Doki's kills there as well. Doki did a fantastic job on the mute throughout the defensive phases for Vexed. So a fantastic game, really. Nice little C4 coming up as well.
Just as easy as you like there, really, for Doki. An immense 2K. This was the weird one. There's every match we've had in this entire season, there's always been one weird round in every matchup, and that was that one for this one. Yeah,
definitely. I think that Vex certainly had to clutch up a little bit more than Unnamed. I think some of Unnamed's round wins were a little bit more of a foregone conclusion, but some of the rounds that Vex picked up were purely through to good individual play, and I think that's what they've got as a team that, you know, really works for them. Is they're all very capable players. They've all got a good high skill level, and that's how they can get away with not having such prescribed strats all the time. But they've done a fantastic job to get themselves through tonight. Like you say, without Feral, it's obviously going to be a big deal. We did see them dropping quite a few rounds there, but to clutch it up in the end and bring out the draw, fantastic.
Yeah, it was definitely the most evenly matchup I think we've had this entire season. You know, right down to the wire. Both teams battling out back and forth, but nonetheless, that will be that match over with Vex on name. That will be their final match of the season, but both of them still have playoffs to go through still. Of course, Vex having that easier matchup as they will face either Barrage or Horizon for next week, and then already know for next week, Guidance and also Unnamed will go at it inside of that 4th versus 5th, which of course is going to be that massive one for next week. But that's going to be us done for our second match of tonight already.